This is Crystal with Summer Bear Weddings, and I'm here with an amazing DJ duo. I would love for you guys to introduce yourselves.
Well, I'm Stephen Bunch, better known as DJ Julian, and
My name is Vinny. My cousin Vinny is my DJ name, and we represent Club Choices DJ.
Awesome. Where are you guys located out of?
we're based out of Elk Grove, California, servicing Northern California, the Bay Area, and also Southern California.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, I met these two at a wedding expo in Sacramento, which was incredibly crowded. There was so many people there. It was kind of crazy, but I loved your setup. I loved um I love the floor that you had set up and just the whole thing going on. And the other thing I really noticed was that there were some tech issues and you were able to bounce on that and fix that, which is great for people to know that ahead of time. If there's issues that arise, you know how to handle and troubleshoot, which is fantastic.
Right.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Appreciate the feedback on that.
Yeah. So as a photographer, I rely on DJs a lot. Especially if I work with a lot of couples who just have like day of coordination from the vendor or month of coordinator. And a lot of times, although they do often help things run smoothly, the DJ and the photographer, but mostly the DJ helps really get things moving along, is a crowd herder, like making sure people are sitting down and doing what they're doing and quieting them down and everything like that. And so for me, having a good DJ and MC is really great. And then also like one of my pet peeves personally is having re obnoxiously loud music while people are eating and talking so that you can't talk to each other. And I've been at weddings where like the DJ had party music, dance music going on when people are sitting down and eating. And I'm just like, you do realize nobody's dancing right now, right? This is the calm, relaxed eating time.
Yeah, I think oftentimes DJs when they go to weddings, they're silent critics, right? You're sitting there kind of, why is he doing that? Why are they playing this? Why are we running, 20, 30 minutes behind? So, we're probably guilty of that, all guilty of that,
Yeah.
being in the business.
Yep.
Well, that leads us into the top three regrets couples have when they go with their lowest package or when choosing a DJ in general. A lot of times people will choose the DJ on price and they are um surprisingly oftentimes with the photographer in the lower man on the podium. Well, can't think of the right word. Um, but they don't always allocate the kind of money they actually should to the DJ because again, like I said, the DJ has creates the flow of the wedding, which is incredibly important.
Well, I think we pride ourselves, and I think you can see these probably from the reviews if you had a chance to visit our reviews, that our package pricing doesn't equate to the experience, right? We're meeting with our clients, we're understanding their vision. Of course, we're understanding their budget, but their budget is getting the intangibles, right? The lights, the show. But we're not going to give any less of our professionalism, our coordination, our ability to deliver on their vision because they've chosen a smaller package, not necessarily a cheaper package. And we don't necessarily look at it like a cheaper package. It's just a smaller package, but we're still going to deliver on your vision, still going to give you the same, everything we need to meet and exceed your expectations.
Has anybody ever been like, oh man, I wish I had added that on after the fact?
Oh, yeah. So to answer that question, that would probably be the top regret of couples that have whenever they go with the lower package or the lowest package is we have to do our best to explain to the client what it is they're actually receiving with the deliverables, the lighting, what type of services, what type of additional effects that we're providing. So the biggest regret is when they actually see, if their goal was to save money and be on a budget, that's one thing, but we have to do our job in explaining, like, okay, well, if this is the route you want to go, you're not going to get the gold package over here that has all the bells and whistles and special lighting, dancing on a cloud, things like that. So that's probably the top regret is they're like, oh, I wish I would have spent the extra money for that upgrade because they did end up wanting to see the full spectacle that we offer with our services.
Yeah, I come across the same thing as well myself. Just recently, I always gift couples a video highlight reel of their day via my phone. So, and I usually, so nowadays it'd be called kind of content creation, but not quite that elaborate. And I post it within like 48 hours of their wedding. And afterwards, she's like, "Well, can I have all the raws that you took?" And I
Oh,
was just like, "No,
wow.
no, you can't. You don't understand that actually takes work. That takes me downloading it. That takes me, I'm not just going to give you the RAWs.
Right.
Um, and I have to host it somewhere because even on the phone is shooting at 4K,
Yep.
you know?
Right.
Those
This is
files add up quick. That
A
file size adds up quick.
lot of storage, a lot of storage.
Yeah, yeah. And I'm like, so that's one of the things. And people are like, they're like, no, no, I don't need video. I don't need video. And that is literally the number one thing that people regret not getting because they want to save money is video. Because, you have the music and all that fun stuff, which I love to incorporate music that the DJ plays into my Final Cut video. To just kind of bring it back to life. It's fun.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the critical component is always, re-asking the same question. What is your vision?
Mhm.
What are you wanting to invest to get the outcome and the results that you want? We're going to deliver, on that, but it's really up to you. And we're pretty meticulous when we're, excuse me, with our clients and asking and filling them out and getting those details documented so there's no regret, if you will, at the end.
So then let's move on to the next question, which kind of flows right in. You're talking about how you communicate with clients is how do you what questions do you ask them and what process do you go through to make sure it's a right fit client? Because obviously not, you're not a right fit for everybody.
Right. Well, to piggyback on what Steven said, I think the first big question is asking them what is their vision.
Mhm.
That's a big one for us, and I really think that's a good way to start the conversation to kind of see what thoughts they have, what ideas they have, and what they're looking to see, in terms of the vision of their wedding. So we usually start there. That's a big one for us. Usually the conversation kind of naturally leads itself to us finding out the client is a good fit when it comes down to the topic of the music. And so we can kind of gauge early on where the client's at. And we've been blessed to have so many clients that fit this kind of like vision of what we see. And it comes down to the importance that they place on the DJ for the wedding.
Yes.
And I don't mean that egotistically. What I mean is like they'll come to us sometimes right away in the conversation and be like, hey, it's really important for us to have a really good DJ because we've been to this many weddings or we
Right.
went to our friend's wedding and the DJ sucked and the whole vibe was off and everybody left early. And we just have heard so many different horror stories, not only from clients and couples, but also from wedding planners and venues and other vendors that we work with. And so we kind of try to guide the conversation to find out what level of importance they place on how good the DJ actually is at being a DJ.
Right. And just to add to that, I think one of the most unique things that we've kind of discovered over the last 5, 7 years is our couples are coming to us and telling us what they don't want. They're more kind of educated on us with our social media, with our Google reviews, and they feel a level of comfort, but they want to get across, hey, this is what we don't want. We see what you guys do, but we don't want this.
So
And
what are some things they don't want? That might be the fun thing to go over.
well, I think you mentioned it, the loud music.
Yep.
A lot of the venues have a sound, sound coordinates, and they don't want loud music during this time. They don't want, obviously explicit lyrics, right?
Mhm.
They don't want, people requesting, crazy songs, and we have some filters and things we do to really, dial all that in. They want us to really ensure that we are, like Vince said, delivering on the vibe, right?
Hmm.
It's all about vibe these days, and they want us to ensure that we can work with the venue staff, the other vendors to deliver, quite frankly.
Yeah.
I would like to add something to that too. I think another one that comes up a lot with couples and what they don't want are they don't want a DJ that is so into themselves and egotistical and self-centered to the point where they're not open to feedback from the couple or anybody else,
Right.
and they're not willing to play requests, which is a crazy thought, but it's
Right.
true.
Right.
It's true. We've heard stories about some
Wow.
DJs that are literally coming in kind of with a prima donna diva
I've been doing
kind
this
of
for years.
energy.
I've been doing
Yeah.
this for years.
Like, you don't tell me what to play. I play what I want to play, kind of
Right.
that kind of attitude. And
Crazy.
we're
Yeah.
not like that. We're totally
And they
not.
should be in the club scene or something. Like those are
Right,
those
right,
guys.
right. They're in the wrong business if
Yeah.
that's the mentality to
Right.
have. And so
Definitely.
we like to encourage our clients and to trust us and know that it's not about us. You know, we do what we do, but part of what we do is make sure that the couple has the best time of their life. And that entails playing whatever they want us to play. You know, we're here to service the client, the couple, and make sure that their wedding is as special as it can be. So
Mhm.
it's that's a bigger one too that comes up.
So, when do you usually arrive at the wedding?
We are there depending upon location, but a standard for us is anywhere from 2 to 2.5 hours. We do have a lot of local venues here in Elk Grove that we do, but our standard is 2 hours. Prior to the start, we are set up, even if you're not doing
The
the
start of
ceremony.
the ceremony?
Yeah,
Okay.
correct. Yeah, even if you're not doing the ceremony, because there's often times where we're not performing or providing audio. I don't think there's anything worse that I've seen from a DJ company. If there is a ceremony or a cocktail hour going on and they're loading in speakers and things like that. We were having this discussion earlier because we've been booked for an event and the event starts at 4, but they don't want us till 8.
What?
And so we told them, well, we're going to be there at 2 to set up. And they're like, well, we're not gonna, pay you. Says that's okay because we're gonna be there set up so your client, so your guest and family don't see us, bringing this in. And it's okay, right? Our jobs are to accommodate and provide service for these milestones, these life-changing milestones. But those are just some of the intangible things that DJs go through. I think that pride themselves on the ability to do that, to adapt and be flexible. So, to answer your question, I'm sorry, about 2 hours is our
Okay.
is our standard.
That's really good. Yeah. The DJ that I worked with at our wedding, he arrived, yeah, well in advance as well. So I rarely find a DJ that doesn't do that. Luckily, I haven't really come across a DJ that was doing anything like that, partly because the venues would never allow it. Because of safety reasons too. It's actually not safe oftentimes to be bringing in equipment when when so many people are up and about and things like that.
Right.
Right.
But my big thing, and we touched on this before we started recording, is the audio portion of the ceremony. And I have been at weddings that had it like beach weddings, and people underestimate how loud waves are and
Mhm.
how loud when you are doing an outdoor wedding, people underestimate how loud things can be outside. For instance, a wedding I did was at a gorgeous rose garden, Walnut Creek, but the only problem is there's a park right outside of that. And there were tons of birthday parties going on. And so the chatter going on in the background, and you have to like overcome that with the audio.
Right.
And making sure people can actually hear the vows, not just the vows, but like the entire ceremony. You want people, I mean, they came for you, and oftentimes they came from long distances. And the worst part is if you can't hear what you came for.
Right. Exactly.
Absolutely. Yeah. Um, Speaking of which, when it comes to that, I think it kind of ties into your last question. And that's another reason why we do our due diligence to get there early, at least 2.5 hours early, is to troubleshoot ahead of time for situations like that. And so that's one of the reasons why we get there early is because let's say we did get to the beach early enough to set up and we sound check, mic check, and then that's when we discover that the waves are too loud or it's too windy. Well, now we have time to troubleshoot that situation, whether that be add another speaker, change the microphone, go from a lot of times we switch off from the wireless handheld mics to the wireless lapel mic for the ceremony because it's closer to the mouth of the groom, it's closer to the mouth of the officiant that's speaking at the wedding And so we like to troubleshoot things like that ahead of time and give ourselves time to do that. And that's a big part of why we get there early to set up and also provide the right equipment as well. So,
Right. And I think it sounds cliche, preparation is everything, right? But I think also consistency. And so one of the things that we make sure is that if we can go to the venue prior, again, we do several, long distance, but if we can go to one prior to the event and our bookings are kind of out there, we do that. We take that
Mm.
extra step just to go in to make sure, introduce ourselves, 2 to 3 months. Hey, we're going to be working with you. Is there anything that you need from us? Because all in all, this team effort is going to make it successful. The second part of that is obviously technology, right? Technology boom. You have wireless stuff. You have high-end equipment that compact equipment that if you need something, you go in the van, you pull it out, and you make do with what you have. So I think our preparation is something that also makes us very, very confident when we're delivering services.
Yeah, one of the things that again, I don't always think about, and then I'll think about it when it causes a problem. And as I was editing this video, I was like, it's probably not a good idea if the officiant is going to be holding notes or a binder. They should not be trying to hold a microphone. It needs to be on a stand or it needs to be in the lapel. And
Right.
that was the issue with this case. And I didn't notice it, and that was m not really, that's not my responsibility, but since I was doing the video, probably my responsibility.
Right. Right.
Actually, I hired someone out to do the video, and I'm surprised that she did not catch that either. So it can cause issues, and of course we have extra microphones but our microphones pick up everything.
Right.
It's not centered on, and that's the thing is like for what we do and for what you guys do, you want to be able to hear the voice. You don't want to you don't want to hear all the other chatter going on in the background if there happens to be chatter going on.
mhm.
So, if you're like in a Catholic church or things like that, that's totally different. They have their own sound system.
Right.
Usually a DJ is never there when we're doing a full Catholic ceremony.
Mhm.
There generally isn't a reason to, anytime I do a church, because they all have their own sound systems. But if you're outside, you need a sound system.
Right.
Oh yeah.
And you
Yeah.
can't depend on the venues because you don't know when the last time is that they updated that equipment.
Right.
That's
Right.
not their primary job unless they're, have vendors, but even then they have vendors, they don't have employees that do that.
Right.
Right. Exactly. Exactly.
So that's one of my biggest things. And those are things that like, even though I've been doing weddings for 10 plus years, I still like things come up and I'm like, oh, well, that to me, it was a duh, but to
Mhm.
other people, it's not. And so going over these things, this is why I have this channel, is because it's so important to go over things that we think are kind of like, well, of course, but when you're planning a wedding, having recently done this, there's so many things on your plate. You
Mhm.
can't think of everything.
Right.
Right.
Right. Yeah, it definitely sticks out. We have a client portal that we invested in a couple of years ago, and it goes through those questions, right? We give that well in advance. We say, hey, take your time, build your itinerary. The whole thing is that we want to deliver, right? We want to meet and exceed your expectations on this vision, and I continue to say that only because it's like, hey, it feels meticulous, but when we go everything, it's documented. You're going to show up, get married, have a great time. We'll work with your vendors, we'll work with the venue, and that has seemed to lead to the greatest amount of success we've had in this business. And again, that preparation for that aha moment, right? And we've
Mhm.
even been in that aha moment with photographers that didn't bring cables or videographers that didn't bring batteries, things that small thing that, probably the client doesn't see, but we've helped another vendor.
Mhm.
We could probably do our own channel on vendors helping vendors, right?
Yeah.
At weddings, right?
Yeah.
For those
Wait,
aha
photographer and the cable?
photographer cables, they have the mic cables. Some they have their mic doesn't work on their camera. They're
Oh,
small.
for a
Right?
videographer. I was
For
like, because
videographer.
we don't record, we do
Yeah,
video.
video.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
sorry. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
yeah.
I was like, what?
And so we've been in those situations too, and and it's kind of hard not to say, yeah, let's help these guys out, in the midst of doing what we're doing, because it is about just delivering.
Mhm.
Yeah. So what is it that each of you do in the business?
What is it that we do?
There's one's an MC and one's more the DJ portion. Is that
Oh, okay,
correct?
okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. So typically you'll see Steven on the microphone.
Okay.
He's an amazing MC and he's just got amazing energy. And when it comes time to day of show, day of wedding, we like to pride ourselves and on putting on a show for
Yeah.
the couple. And so we have a really good chemistry working together. So typically you'll see him on the microphone engaging the crowd, walking around, making sure everything is running smoothly, checking in with the planner, checking in with the photographer, coordinating things on announcements, speeches. And typically, I'm the one behind the DJ booth and I'm queuing up the music, doing a lot of the mixing when it comes time for the dancing, the dance party, and then also coordinating the music for like the grand entrance,
Mhm.
first dance, ceremony, things of that nature. And
Oh my
so,
gosh, I have horror stories about
yeah.
entrances. I mean,
Well,
and
we have some too. We definitely
oh
have
my
that too.
gosh.
But I think that's what makes us work so well and has been contributing so much to our success is that not only does the couple see that, but the guests see that. And it really is an entertainment factor that we like to call the wow factor that leaves people having felt like they experienced something special.
Right.
And so that's what we like to pride ourselves on and provide for our clients. And it's been working out really well for us. So
Yeah.
excited to keep it going and keep building.
Well, how
Absolutely.
long have you guys been in business? I guess that should have been a first question.
At least, well, the business itself, formally starting as a business, probably 25 plus years, but
Wow.
I've started DJing in high school at 16, and I've known this guy since he was a lot younger than he is now. And so the DJ experience spans greatly over, 30, 40 years, if you would. So it's just been one of those things where we've come together. It works. He has an extensive background as a producer, as
Mhm.
an artist, as a performer, as a DJ, and myself as a career professional that has a DJ business that has now combined and just taken it to a whole new level with just a succinct amount of focus on what the industry is looking for today.
Right.
Awesome. Well, do you guys happen to have any photos of some of the fun extra things that like I mentioned the floor, dancing on a cloud and the what is that called?
Cold
Cold
Sparks.
Sparks. Yeah, those are the three big ones that I are trending and that I see right now. But if you have something else that's trending that I don't know about, let me know.
Well,
Yeah, so just to answer that first part real quick, I know we do have some photos, and this is probably the ideal time to show them.
All right, so we have some really awesome photos, and I'm going to be sharing my screen in just a minute that you guys sent over to me. And this is the setup that you did at the expo.
right.
Yes.
That's where I met you, I believe, because I ended up being at the booth right next door to you. I recognize that.
Yeah, I was gonna say you were next door, right? Yeah.
I was. Can you see my screen okay?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so I ended up being right next to you, but yeah, I loved this whole thing. That is so much fun and it adds a layer of just like je ne sais quoi to it. I love it. It's just like fun and hip and it's just awesome. Um
Yeah. No, thank you for saying that. We appreciate that.
yeah, it was really great. Hold on. That's some video. I don't know why this is not coming all up. Hold on just a second. Um oh, there you are.
I recognize that guy,
Yeah.
friend of mine.
Oh, this is fantastic. It's a fantastic photograph. But yeah, this is kind of what I wanted people to see is the dancing on the clouds look with the coal sparklers. And everybody can notice that this is inside. And it's one of the few instances where it's actually approved of by, can you see it okay?
Yes, we
Yes.
see
Yeah.
it.
Perfect.
Sorry, it doesn't even show that it's showing on the Zoom. It's one of those things that actually approved. So in California, the old version of sparklers not allowed anymore because of fire danger, but these are, which is fantastic.
Which is interesting because we are still running into that with some venues that even though they are cold sparks, some places still do not allow that.
Yeah, I would probably suggest that you check with your venue
Yeah.
planner. Most of the historic
Mm,
venues, we're talking about they're designated historically
yeah.
sites are
They don't
not.
even want to risk it.
Yeah, they're not allowing that, or believe it or not, or dancing on a cloud.
Hmm.
Okay, that's just weird.
Yeah, we've run into that, and it's primarily, and this is something that people need to be aware of, the mist sometimes, if you're not using the proper ice, if you will, leaves a little residue. So,
Mm,
we do tell our folks that, we have to allow us to come in there in that space and kind of wipe up. And I've done that personally. I don't leave that to the venue, but I do tell the venue in advance, we're
Hmm.
using this and does leave a little bit of a residue. If you can have a little mop for me, and then, obviously they oblige and they help as well. But we're really transparent with our clients to ensure safety, and again, make sure we deliver on the services that they
wow,
purchase.
I had no idea though that that left of transparency. That's good to know. And this is good to know. This is why I encourage people to watch more of these videos before they even choose a venue, because the worst thing would be like to have this in your vision and then you choose a venue, put down a deposit, and oh, they don't allow it.
Oh, absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you've really got to put together the vision of the wedding before you even choose a venue. That's what
Mm,
I did.
Absolutely.
absolutely.
Oh, this is beautiful.
Yeah, this was the grand entrance actually. So the song, right? Flashlight. So
Hmm.
they came in, and once they got there, we lit them all up as they were walking in. And of course, you also see the additional uplights. And in this particular venue, we supply two setups. So the reception is actually in one, what they call a barn, and then there's an adjacent barn where we set up our DJ video booth, which was in that first picture with the dance floor.
Yeah, and people think barns look rustic. This looks elegant to me.
Absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's a great shot coming up that
Okay.
really set this one apart. And that is it right there.
Oh, that's fantastic. Lovely. Did you put that spotlight on the couple?
No, I believe that's from the photographer.
Photographer. So sometimes DJs will. That's why I ask,
Yes, we do that.
especially with in the clouds.
Yes, we do that. But because he had the two, we declined. We did. They did want the lights lowered, and so that's
Mhm.
why we didn't provide additional lights in there.
Mm-hmm.
Lights.
But we do have that spotlight though, and sometimes
Correct.
couples will request that, and sometimes we surprise them too, and it ends up going off really, really well.
Absolutely.
Well, I will say as a photographer, when they want the lights lower for the first dance, I don't mind it. I just say don't go all dark, which they didn't. It's a nice ambiance.
Right.
Right.
And back to there. Awesome. So we're gonna go. We have some videos, which of course I love video. It's one of my favorite things.
Perfect. Same event, right?
I think
And there we
that
go.
was one
I
of
got it.
the
Here's
best.
some fun video of the same photos that we were looking at. So here we go.
Right. So that's the grand entrance one. Waving up the napkins,
Yep.
getting them going.
Classic. That was such a good shot.
What venue was this?
Shout out to Lemoore Vineyards,
Wow.
Located in Elk Grove, California.
Nicole.
Yes, it's a beautiful, beautiful.
Lemoore Vineyards in Elk Grove, you said?
Yes.
Yes,
Oh,
Hmm.
that's fantastic. Well, I'm gonna have to shout them out because I will definitely tag them in this post because this is a fantastic venue. I love it.
it is. And again, like I was saying, they have all four different spots that we provide coverage for. So there is an on-site chapel barn. There is a quote unquote a cocktail early arrival space where they serve cocktails, which is
Hmm.
adjacent to a rose garden. And then
Oh,
you have this white barn that they transition to for the reception, and then they transition to an adjacent wine barn.
all
Uh,
right. Well, let me write this down because I'm
oh,
like,
yeah,
I did
you
not
can see
find
it
this
on their
venue when
website.
I when I was
Yeah.
planning my wedding. I did not see this.
And we work at a lot of great spaces. We're their, I don't want to say number one DJ, but their in-house DJ. So
Hmm.
we're very, very accustomed to the coverages that they need. We offer great pricing for them, and just really a transparent, service that we provide from start to finish.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I am excited to watch this one.
That one was the couple's first dance.
Right.
And so we timed it with the fog rolling out, and then towards like a certain climactic point of the song, that's when we shot off the sparks, and it went over really well.
Right.
Yeah.
So in that first photo, they're dancing with no sparks, and then Tarts when the song starts to
Oh, I
crescendo,
see it.
then blow them up like that. That's that behind the scenes.
You know, some people might ask, does the smoke ever cause any issues with anybody?
No, so it's
No.
not a smoke, if you will. It appears that way, but it's really a cold CO, almost like a CO2 effect.
Oh, okay.
So all you're really doing is submersing dry ice
Mm-hmm.
into hot water. And
Okay.
any chemistry or science major will tell you kind of what the action is, reaction to that combination is, and it just pushes it out. So again, the only thing is really the condensation, a little bit of condensation that that it leaves in the area, and you
Mm-hmm.
gotta clean that up.
Mhm.
I'm sure that feels good in the summertime.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, it is nice and cool. That's for sure.
And I think this picture really illustrates a couple of things. One, what we have to do to deliver on that vision you talk about. But I
Mm-hmm.
think more importantly, it's the coordination with the other vendors, right? The cameraman are also trying to get that shot that they want. And it's very important that you work with them and let them have their space to do what they want to, that they need to do to deliver as well. So it's a
Yeah.
great partnership.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I would love to do video work at that space, and with you guys, to be honest, because I feel
Absolutely.
like it would just be amazing. So,
Yeah.
definitely that's one of the things I'm putting together is preferred vendor list for me because a lot of times people do hire me first before they hire the DJ. So,
Yeah.
sometimes not. Sometimes people hire the DJ first, especially if they know you already or the venue recommends you, and then they go with the photographer.
Mhm.
But yeah, I love you guys are really amazing, and I really appreciate you guys coming on here and chatting with me.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, we really
Definitely.
appreciate the opportunity to speak and thank you for having us. It's been great.
Yeah. I love after seeing those photos, I'm like, man, how come I didn't know about you from my wedding?
There you
Right.
go. Well, you can always renew your vows.
I know,
There you
right?
You can
go. There you
always
go.
do it. Take
I
some
want to. And this is one of the reasons I started my channel is because there was things that happened at the wedding that should not, like it should have run smoothly because I planned for it to run smoothly, but my primarily my wedding court and planner just she couldn't make it, so she sent her assistant, and her assistant just let things fall through, like putting parents not sitting at the same table,
uh,
and like I painstakingly like put a planogram together with the colors because it was different color theme because it was Milky Way Galaxy themed. And I
mhm,
spent
mhm.
hours putting everything together and she couldn't follow it.
Oh
And
man.
she didn't get the photo booth thing set up. Like it didn't work. It broke, the one that I ordered, but I had a backup one because hello, photographer.
You're ready.
You were
You're
But
ready
ready.
I
for
was ready. I
it.
had a backup one, but she told me it wasn't working, they were working on it, and but that was in the middle of the day, and I'm like, she saw I had backup ones and she just didn't do it. So there were things that happened. Everybody had a great time and it was
Oh,
great,
there you
but I'm
go.
like, I kind of want to go back and like do it right and have some of the things that I didn't think about having at my wedding, which would it was outdoors, so it would the dry ice, the dancing on the cloud would have been fantastic and fun and not caused any issues. And I don't know if they would have allowed the dry ice or not because they're very literally the next day there was a fire nearby and we got smoked out when I was cleaning up the venue.
Oh man.
Ooh.
Yeah, we had our brunch, and then the brunch did was fine, and then as like at the end of us cleaning up, all of a sudden the smoke started coming and filling up the venue, and I was like,
Uh,
thank God our wedding wasn't on Saturday like everybody wanted.
well, it's
Wow.
crazy.
So I have to ask, how was the DJ?
I actually really loved the DJ. He was really good. He gave me a pretty good price on it too because he was on a boat for a long time, so he was just getting back into the wedding scene. Um, and he was a really good MC. The only thing, no, well, I'm just gonna say it, I was controlling. I told him
You're allowed to be controlling on your
Right.
wedding.
I
Yeah.
was very much like literally we're taking photos and I noticed the music playing and I was like, it's not the right vibe. Can you tell him I actually asked somebody to go switch up the vibe? I remember because it was more like dancey music and then people were just mingling and I'm just like, no, can you switch it over to more like um atmospheric, like relaxing music rather than dance music because no one's dancing right now. So there's no reason for it. Um, but he's really nice. And I did 100 years of music and I threw that at him the last minute and he did such a great job of like, um, kind of creating my vision. And when I told him to go to the next song, he was pretty quick at doing that. And it's my fault. I should have like gave him the list like a week before, but I gave it to him the night before because they hadn't had time. And so yeah, we went through the 1920s up to like 2010. I think we ended with Shake It Off with Taylor Swift.
Right.
And I just wanted, and you know what? I will say everybody loved it because we had the older people in the crowd and they got so excited over the older music and we got the old people up dancing on it because we had the music that they grew up to.
Right.
Yeah, nice.
And it was fantastic. And then, of course, we got all the stuff that we grew up to. And so it really encompassed everybody into it from the 70-plus-year-olds that were there all the way to the 3-year-olds.
Right.
Oh, wow.
Well, the one thing that we didn't mention, you just touched on it, is, and we kind of pride ourselves on this, is really that inclusiveness, right? So one of the things that we offer is that we not only set up a website for our planning portal, but we also give out a link so folks that can make music requests and, before the wedding. So you can put it on your invitation, your website, and they go to the link and they can pick 20 to 25 songs. But what's so unique is that we get that list and it kind of tallies up, how many songs have been selected. So we know exactly what the hot songs are. And
Yeah, that's
and
awesome. Oh my gosh, I
then,
didn't even think about that. Then you
yeah,
already know what people want to listen to
right,
going in. Because if you want to do heavy into the Latin music or heavy into the country music,
right,
because those are the two things I will a lot of art. Mine was very mixed. We didn't have really much Latin music because there was only one of my friends there was Peruvian. I think I said I want a couple of those really hot Latin songs in there that we
right.
all know and love.
Mhm.
Um, I noticed that people will go heavy into the Latin, heavy into the country, or heavy into the R&B, and those are like the three main genres for weddings.
Right.
Or what I did, which is pop, like pop from the 80s, 90s, and what are they, the aughts? Is that what we call them?
Yeah.
The 2000s.
Funny.
But yeah, man, when we do renew our vows or if we have a baby and we have a big old baby shower, I'm gonna have to have you guys come in
You
There you
go.
go. Yeah.
Hold,
because we're
hold
old. So if I get
it.
pregnant and have a baby, it's gonna be a miracle.
Nah, hey, never say never. Never say never.
Well, we're trying, but yeah, I definitely want to celebrate it when that happens. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Good luck.
thank
We're
Definitely.
you.
just a Zoom call away.
There you go.
Yeah, absolutely. So what well and it was lovely meeting you guys and where can people find you?
Well, first of all, the website is www.clubchoicesdj.com, but most folks are on IG, so it's Club Choices DJ on IG. So all
And
platforms.
pretty much, yeah. The one note for Instagram is it's Club Choices DJ, and the DJ is spelled DEEJAY.
Oh, okay.
So,
Interesting. Yeah,
um,
people probably wouldn't notice that. But
yeah,
I have your information so I can link it in the comments below.
for sure.
So yeah, it was lovely seeing you guys.
Yeah, definitely good seeing you
Likewise.
again.
Thank you for having us. And we're also on TikTok
Okay,
and Facebook as well. So,
awesome.
All
yeah,
right. Well, we look forward to not only seeing you, but hopefully working with you soon. And
Will you guys be going to any expos coming up or bridal fairs or anything?
not expos. We've been fortunate to book a lot of gigs this go around, and it was really amazing because it was done primarily last year. So we
Mm,
were going to ask you that question about, what trends have you seen in the bookings? We've kind of seen some cycles happen over the last 2 years where you have maybe 60% booking a year in advance for us, and then you get the ones that are booking 6 months. And now, believe it or not, we're kind of in that last phase where people's weddings are 2 months away, and they're like, "Hey, are you guys available?" And we're going, "No, unfortunately, we're not." And we have mechanisms on our website where you can check our availability, but they're doing that, and they're still calling us saying,
mm.
you
Yeah,
know,
hoping that it's wrong.
yeah,
Okay, so before we forget, Pricing. Everybody wants to know about pricing. It's probably the first question I get out of every inquiry is, what's your price?
Right. That's the million dollar question, right?
Right.
Yeah, so with the pricing, it really does depend on what the couple wants. I know I circled back on the vision statement earlier, and I think that rings true to this question as well, because getting an idea of their vision and what they're hoping to see and expect for their wedding is a good way to start where the pricing is going to begin. So depending on how many bells and whistles they want, we offer loads of different optional upgrades in addition to our packages. And so, the base price could start roughly around, 3,000 to 3,500, depending on the travel as well. I know we spoke a little bit earlier about you had your first destination wedding this year coming up in May.
Oh, not my first.
Not your
I
first.
not
Oh,
just for this year. That's not my
just for
first. I
this
have
year.
destination.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's something that we're also exploring as well. And so we
Mhm,
actually have some of our destination weddings coming up this year as well. Not our first ones, but as
mhm,
we've been doing more of them, it's kind of changing how we look at our pricing because all of that's factored in, the travel, lodging, are we flying? Is it overnight? Things like that. And so all of that stuff has to be considered. And so, depending on what extra services they want or they need from us, our pricing could start anywhere from 3,000 to 3,500. And then we just kind of go from there based on any optional upgrades.
Is that like that includes, you said getting you arrive, so you arrive early before, well before the setup, and then you're there till the end of the event.
Yeah, the contractual
Correct.
pricing is from the start of the event. It
Yeah.
doesn't include our setup or our cleanup. Although we do ask to make sure they don't incur any pricing if we're cleaning, if we're
Yeah.
cleaning up and we're doing it a little slower because we've been there for 12 hours, but
Hmm.
that kind of thing. But no, our pricing just is the contractual pricing.
So for the cold sparkles and the icing, are people are how much generally, if it's within, let's just keep it within like the Sacramento Bay Area location.
It's an add-on that goes for about $500.
Oh, okay.
I get you to, I think it's probably pretty much industry standard, but I think what makes us unique is that we offer it as a free choice
Mm,
in our gold package. So you have either or. You can do the cold sparks as part of the package, or you can pick the cloud. And there's a lot of savings that we try to give in our gold package because here's the thing, again, we're all visual people.
mhm.
You may not be able to afford your vision, but it doesn't mean we can't deliver on your vision. So we want to make it very reasonable to say, hey, if you get everything, we're going to deliver everything, and then you can move it around how you want it. Maybe you don't want the sparks on your first dance. Maybe you want it at your grand entrance. Maybe you want it at both. And so we're able to deliver on that just based upon you giving us the flexibility of saying, okay, I'll take this one and you guys will move it around and make it happen for you. So it's just really key to really upfront know what they want, know the outcome of that, and to be deliver on the results. But it does take an investment
Yeah.
from.
Yeah. Well, same with me, right?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
So, perfect. And that's pretty, that I saw after seeing what I saw, I'm like, that's like a whole production, and that's really, really amazing.
Mhm.
And I kind of feel like, and you do the uplighting, so that really takes away from the pricing of having to deliver as many decor. I feel like is that you can pay a little bit less on the decor side if you want to, because you have that. So people don't think about that all the time, is that when you have a DJ that brings in these extra things and these
Mhm.
uplights and say the floor or whatever, you don't have to go over necessarily, if you want to, but you don't have to go over the top with decor.
But I think you make a great point, and I think it just illustrates how professional and how experienced you are, and how important it is for us to work with professionals like yourself, right? Because you are validating some of these things that the client doesn't think about.
Mm.
right? Where you can allow the DJ to provide the different colors. Uplights are just not white. You can make them different colors. You can make them move. You can make them dance and fade. You can have a amber candlelight for dinner, but the cocktail may be a soft blue,
Mhm.
those things. And so it's really, really important to, and again, thank you for allowing us to speak with you,
Yeah.
to be in conjunction with a talented planner, a talented person that also knows the clients what wants and desires. So
Yeah.
for that as well.
I would totally love to do the planning and decor, but I would go insane with the amount of I would I love helping people do it just as a personal side of it. I just don't want to do it as a business side. I did it once and that was enough for
That
about a
was
year.
Right.
for
It's
you.
enough.
I was like, I like the photography part, and then I can just help guide them in
Right.
the design and planning.
There you go. There you go. Absolutely.
All right, thank you so much, guys.